Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival Guide. Oh boy, it's been a while, hasn't it? Hello, welcome back. I've had a fantastic week off and I hope you guys are having a good day today. We are going to be working on some fun stuff, but not here at the Villager Trading Hall project. I'm going to take a bit of a break from this one because Minecon Live happened the other day, and I was on holiday at the time, so I didn't get to watch all of it live, but I got to watch a bunch of the stuff back, and let me tell you, I am super excited for what Minecraft has in its near future. This Nether update they have planned has got me super excited for some change in the Nether, and so today what I want to do is do a little bit of fun work in the Nether, trying to simulate what some of that update is going to be like, because it's adding a couple of different biomes. If you guys haven't seen the announcements about Minecon Live, I'm not going to have a separate video about those, but lots of other folks on YouTube will, and Minecraft themselves has a bunch of videos up on their YouTube channel which kind of summarize all of the stuff that's going on. There are going to be these few different biomes in the Nether, one of which is going to be fairly straightforward from what I can tell. It's going to be a soul sand biome, a kind of soul sand valley. There is going to be one that is a nether wart forest, and the one that I am even more excited about than either of those two is a variant of the nether wart forest, which is a blue nether wart forest. Now, whether or not that means we are getting some sort of blue nether wart in the game, or if it's just going to be a biome color in the same way that we have differences between biome colors in the overworld, like from the extreme hills here to the plains over there's differences in grass color and leaf color and that kind of thing. But if we end up having differences in colored biomes in the Nether, if you place a nether wart block down in one biome, it's blue, where it would be red in another biome. That's still pretty exciting stuff. The Nether has never really seen any kind of biome-specific stuff like that. It's always just been one biome and a little bit of terrain variation. So today what I thought we could do is pick out some materials from the blue nether wart forest biome that are going to simulate a little bit of what that biome is going to look like. And we're going to terraform a section of the Nether to look as close to it as possible with the materials that we currently have available to us in the current update of Minecraft. I'm going to put the image on the screen here. This is the image that you'll find on Minecraft.net in the blog post where they have all of the information about what they've announced at Minecon, and I think, looking at it, we're probably going to have to go with prismarine as part of the floor, just because it's got quite a textured floor. There's little flecks of yellow and stuff in there with those kind of cyan blue colors and a little bit of green and purple in there as well. Prismarine is a block that contains all of those, although it kind of cycles through those different colors. If you look at a block of raw prismarine for a little while, you'll notice that it starts to take on a little bit of a yellow color in some of the cracks and veins in the rock, and then that changes to something approaching more of a purple, and it does this regardless of which biome it is placed in. It's kind of an animated texture that changes over a long period of time, and so you will start to see, yep, there you go, it's starting to change color a little bit now. It almost doesn't look like it's doing it until you step away and then you step back again and the block can look a little bit different. That's probably going to be what we'll make the floor out of. Obviously, there is some interesting flora on the floor as well, and for that, I'm going to be simulating it using fire coral. Now, the problem here is that fire coral is something that needs to be waterlogged in order for it to retain its color, and if it doesn't have access to water, it turns gray. In the Nether, we can't give it access to water. We can't waterlog blocks or anything like that. We certainly can't put it underwater because water sources of any kind aren't allowed in the Nether. The only way you can place water in the Nether, really, is by placing a bucket of water in a cauldron in the Nether, and that is not enough to hydrate a piece of coral. So unfortunately, any coral we place down for the purposes of this video is going to turn grey, but maybe I'll be able to take a screenshot of it so that we can compare it with the screenshot from Minecraft.net, and we'll be able to just spam a bunch of red coral in there really quickly before it all turns grey. I don't have a great deal of red coral right now, so I might have to go and find some. I can always just bone meal at the floor of a warm ocean to get renewable coral plants, though, so it's not going to be the waste that it appears right now, having only 4 fire coral in here. We've got plenty of fire coral fans, which would also do. There are also some neat-looking blue mushrooms in there, which hints at some future variations on mushrooms that are coming to the game. I'm probably just going to make do with red mushrooms for now, once again, to keep that red color in the flora of the biome, but I'm looking forward to seeing what these blue mushrooms are. Maybe they might even just be blue variants on on red mushrooms that can be placed in this biome. I'm not certain yet, but that's information they have yet to release. And around them, of course, we have these fantastic almost trees of netherwort, and the blocks that make up the trunk of these trees doesn't look like any other block we have in the game right now. In terms of texture, I'd say it is probably closest to something like the magma block, where it's got these kind of organic veins running through it, but magma is a lot more broken up, and it looks like there is lava texture underneath, whereas this almost looks like a creeping vine going up some kind of purple tree. And while we don't really have anything like that we can simulate with vines, and I can't really apply that texture to anything, I was thinking maybe we can at least get the trunk texture right by having something like maybe like magenta or blue terracotta would probably work quite well, just to get the contrast between the trunk of the tree and the blue of the blocks around it, the canopy of the netherwort that's going to be there. So I think what we'll do is we'll grab some dye and we'll make this a bunch of magenta terracotta, and we'll see what we can do with that. We've got a little bit of magenta here, can always use a bit more of that. Now I'll grab some of the green dye here as well and make some cyan, because of course the bulk of the netherwort canopy that's there is going to be made out of a cyan sort of material, and I think cyan wool or cyan concrete powder is going to be ideal for simulating that. I think wool might be a little bit more accessible to us now that I think about it, because we've had this automatic wool farm over here for a little while. I haven't used the cyan wool all that much, so let's go and grab a little bit of that. We could also bring in some concrete powder, but of course that's going to be affected by gravity and stuff as well. So while we're in the business of just, you know, mocking this up and seeing what it can do, let's bring the cyan wool with us as well. And I think that will contrast quite nicely with the prismarine, because they're not exactly the same color. The prismarine is a little bit more pale, has a little bit more of that yellow color in it. I think we'll be able to get away with that. So maybe I won't need to make all that much cyan dye after all. I think we'll just stick to the magenta for now, and I'm going to throw together a bunch of these materials. We're going to take them to an as yet unused portion of the Nether, and I'm going to have a go at making one of these biomes. Hey folks, welcome back. So here we are in the Nether. We are actually at the transition between this ice line that takes us to both the Mushroom Island over there and the Guardian Farm up there, and this blue ice line that takes us all the way out to the Snow Plains biome, where I was starting my ski lodge project, which we will return to at some point in future. But I thought right here would be kind of a cool place to try out this biome design. We've got a nice flat open area here. I visit this quite often, and it's an area that I know I'm not going to reset if I end up resetting sections of my Nether to allow for some of those newer biomes to generate. That's actually going to be kind of tricky for new worlds to do, because you'll have to work around anything that you've already built in terms of Nether hub stuff and portals and that kind of thing, but it will probably be worth it just to see these new biomes in action. But before all that, we can try and simulate the new biomes being in action by putting some of this stuff down, and I might have to go and get a few more supplies. I'm not certain that the supplies I brought with me are going to be enough to simulate the terrain here, but let's at least make a start. So we're going to lay down some prismarine, like I said, as the floor around here, and I've got a few other resources that I've managed to scrounge together. Getting coral is quite difficult, but I still managed to get about half a stack of fire coral. Added some mushrooms into that as well. We've got some fire coral fans in good supply. I'm also going to have to keep an eye out for ghasts fireballing me while I do this, and I will probably try and take a couple of them out because I'm still on the hunt for ghast tears. Probably planning to make a ghast farm at some point as well to compensate for the amount of those I'll be using to blast out tunnels with end crystals and stuff like that. Anyhow, let's maybe make another little platform up here. The thing about each of these blocks, if you refer to the image again, the thing about each of these blocks is that they are going to be kind of like grass-topped blocks are in the overworld, where it's a dirt block about, 7/8 of the way up, and then the top 1/8 of it is covered in grass. So what I want to do is maybe go grab a crafting table and put together some prismarine slabs, because those could sit on top of here and simulate the effect of that probably better than I think cyan carpet would. Like, I can give that a try, but I feel like that contrasts too heavily with the blocks I'm already using as the terrain simulation here. So let's maybe work with that. Let's go and get some prismarine slabs. Obviously, if this is going to be the floor here, then we won't be able to see the sides of those blocks. It's not really going to matter all that much. But you see what I mean about the prismarine changing color? It's already kind of gone that shade of purple, and then it fades back through the other colors, gets a little bit greener, gets a little bit yellower, that kind of thing. Let's start placing down some trees. I have purple and magenta terracotta here. The purple is slightly darker. There isn't a huge amount of difference between the two, but I think I might go with the purple. And then from here, we can add in a little bit of the cyan wool draping down around the outside. And I brought some cyan concrete powder with me anyway, just for a little bit of texture variation. I want to see if we can create some of that in here with these trees, just to make it feel like they've got a bit more texture going on than the relatively tame texture that the wool has. Obviously, I could put string underneath it here and there if I wanted to, but I think it's going to be fine just to vary the texture as we go around and place concrete powder on the tops of some of these wool blocks. Now, the way that we're talking about them in the Minecon presentation, the team said they wanted these trees of netherwort to be quite densely packed together, so we're actually going to find it quite difficult to navigate around these. There's going to be stuff that gets in the way that means you sort of lose your sense of direction and you get lost in this kind of netherwort jungle. So we want it hanging quite close to the ground, so you can't really see any landmarks in the nether that are going to help you get your bearings. And we'll start with kind of shapes like this around the outside. Yeah, I think that's looking quite good. We probably need to conceal the stems a little bit more, but having a thick forest of trees like this is going to be really interesting. And from what I can see, they have quite a bit of height variation too. So let's make this one a little bit taller, like so. Obviously, we can bring the tops closed a little bit like this. And when they showed them during the Minecon presentation, they were showing them from the ground level. You didn't really see a huge amount of shots that were taken from the air, so this is about as good as we're going to get. But already this feels like quite a unique sight in the Nether. If you step back and take a look at this in context, it really does look quite interesting, surrounded by all of the red. There's so much contrast going on here that I really like. I think the cyan here is really lending this kind of almost cyberpunk vibe to the place, contrasting with the red like that. You can imagine it being backlit with some glowstone for greater effect, and I think there was even bits and pieces of glowstone woven in amongst the trees here and there. So if we light it like so from underneath, then yeah, you can really see that start to pop out. Of course, we can place some mushrooms down already because the Nether has no skylight. Obviously, we can't place them too close to that glowstone block, but you can actually get them pretty close there. That's the only block I can't place them on right now, so we can at least get some of the flora put in there already. Imagine those being blue. I could retexture them or something, I suppose, but yeah, you can really see how this is going to look, and we'll add the fire coral in last of all because the fire coral is going to revert to grey again. I want to take a screenshot of this, at least for the episode thumbnail or something like that, and we can really see how this biome looks when it's a little bit more complete. In fact, now I've got some of this built, I definitely need to go and get some more prismarine, but I might also go and grab some netherwort blocks, which are going to take a little while to farm because netherwort grows really slowly and I don't have any pre-made netherwort blocks right now. But we could also merge this into one of the netherwort forests that are going to be the red color and use actual netherwort for the trees and see what they look like side by side, because obviously while we're only going to be able to simulate them with the materials I've got right now, I think it'd be really cool to see both of these biomes in action and see what kind of landscape they lend to the Nether. Already seeing tree-like structures in the Nether is quite exciting to me because the Nether always seems a little bit empty and barren aside from the occasional structure and patches of soul sand and stuff like that. So the opportunities that this presents in terms of, you know, like finding a cool environment to create a base and that kind of stuff, really, really cool to me. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time off camera gathering up some netherwort supplies. We're going to build a second netherwort forest over here on this side, and we'll probably expand this one out to the edges of this section over here. So I'll go ahead and go and do that, probably make some more prismarine slabs and stuff as well, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Hey folks, welcome back. So I've been working on this for a little while, and this is the result. And it really doesn't look quite as authentic as I was hoping, but I think you get the general idea of what these biomes are going to look like. Let's head over here a little bit and let's kind of take a look at them from a distance, because seeing that in the middle of the Nether really is going to feel very, very different. Let's fly up here a little bit and imagine spotting that from the air, and you can really get a bit more of a feel for it. Now, this is all of the netherwort blocks I could really make. I only managed to get about 3 stacks worth in the end because, gosh, it takes a long time to make these things. I really need to work on an industrial-sized netherwort farm, something I can AFK at, or something that's just going to be producing an absolute ton of netherwort, even more than I currently use. The main problem being that you have to plant it by hand, but even so, yeah, a lot of nether wart went into this, and now all of that nether wart is gone into these blocks and cannot be uncrafted, because these aren't like resource blocks, like iron blocks. You kind of smush all of the nether wart into a single block, and then you don't get it back after that. So, yeah, a few of my potion-making supplies went into this, but ultimately what we have is a working representation of what I think these biomes are going to look like. And these are still, of course, work in progress, so the look of the biomes may change, but just the idea of seeing this electric blue stuff in the nether is really quite exciting to me. Now, for the finishing touches, I do want to cheat a little bit, and I'm sorry for this for those of you who don't like me to cheat in this series, but I want to turn the game tick off for a second, because if we do game rule random tick speed and set that to 0, temporarily, this is going to mean that nothing grows, and anything that would have a block state change from natural growth does not change. And I think that might allow me to place some of this fire coral here without it reverting into dead coral. And that, nope, okay, it does seem to have done it. Okay, never mind. There was me thinking, I'm going to set it back to 3, which is the default value. There was me thinking I was going to get away with that, but unfortunately not. So I'm going to have to be quite quick here. Going to have to grab that with the Silk Touch pickaxe to make sure that it doesn't just drop and disappear. And yeah, I'm going to have to spam this really quick and then take a very quick screenshot for the thumbnail. But if you imagine, let's say we just spam a bunch of this around here, and that is the amount of stuff we are looking at, and already it's reverting to the grey form, which, oh, that's heartbreaking to see. You hate to see it, but yeah, I love the idea that there is going to be this red nether grass around. I forget what it's actually called, because in the blog post they did actually have a different name for it, and they implied that it might be a kind of harmful plant in some way, kind of like the sweet berry bushes that we have right now, the fact that they can kind of sting you and trap you, ensnare you for a little while. I love that idea. I think these are going to be such interesting biomes, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of what we can get out of them, if there are going to be new resources, if there are going to be just new things to explore in the nether, and these might not even be the only biomes that we end up getting. But for now, we've given it a test, and I've got to say, yeah, just looking at it from the air, from up here, it would be so cool exploring the nether and finding stuff like this. So I think they're onto a winner with this new update. Obviously, the update itself is not coming along for a while, so we won't really be able to experiment with the features until some of the snapshots and stuff have arrived. But you know what? I really like the look of this, and I cannot wait to see more of what they have planned for this nether update. But before that, of course, we've got stuff like bees coming. We've got all kinds of different updates. I just thought it'd be fun to delve into that stuff for this episode. So that is going to be it for this episode of the Minecraft Survival Guide. Thank you, folks, so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm back, and hopefully videos should be coming out on a daily basis from now on, or at least a week daily basis. Monday through Friday is when you can expect to find Survival Guide in your subscription feed. Don't forget to subscribe if you do want to see more. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.